Robinson Show, we are back with Bobby Blaze Smedley. How are you, Bobby?
Brother, I'm doing good, man. It's good to be back on the podcast. Thank you, guys. I hope you are doing good as well.
Great to have you back. It's always great to talk to you, my friend. And have you been vaccinated?
Twice, motherfuckers, twice.
Fuck yeah, double guns. I only got the one. I got the J&J because I'm lazy.
I got you. Well, that's all right. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
When you got it, though.
The double dose, man.
Yeah, I kind of wanted the Pfizer, but it's what they had when I was there, and I took it. I took the J&J.
Hey, to each their own, but at least you done it, man. There's a lot of people walking around not doing it, and that's fine with them. That's their deal. I made an adult decision. Nothing political. I just said, you know what? This might be best for me as an adult male, and I did it, man.
I agree. I feel like, too, we have to do it.
The last time we talked, we both, I think we both kind of thought we might have had it, man.
Yes.
We had that bug.
And what I was going to say,
but we got through it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bobby, when I got the vaccine, I had all the symptoms I had when I had the full thing. I had them all like little bits. So I feel like it definitely was that when I got the vaccine.
Yeah, we talked about that because I had went in the hospital in January, middle of January of that 2020, and it was diagnosed different. But I'm thinking, my brother, man, he like, I think you had it. We talked about it. I think we might have had a touch of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'm just glad to be here in 2021, man. Good talking to you guys again.
Yes, man. And I was going to say, too, I think last time we talked, you hadn't been doing it, but I saw you were back doing Bell to Bell with Bobby Blaze, with Jeremy again.
We took a little high. Yeah. Big shout out to Jeremy Vilmer, the professor on the Bell to Bell podcast. What we done, we had an agreement to do 18 months. We did that. We took a hiatus. He had a lot of shit going on in his life.
Yes,
and I had a lot of shit going on in mine. And we both experienced some sickness and illness and stuff. And it was just like, let's wrap this shit up. There was no heat. There was nothing, personal, nothing like that.
Yeah.
But Tex Johnson, who was our YouTube guy, dude, he passed away. Again, Jeremy went through some personal stuff and also suffered, it's no secret, he suffered a heart attack. He talked about it on your show.
Yeah.
And some other issues. And then I got sick, man, and I was like, what the fuck? We did a break, and we took it. Since then, actually 1 year this week, we have not missed one episode in 1 year. We come out every Tuesday morning on the Bell to Bell with Bobby Blaze podcast. And we just came out. We just now interviewed Johnny Candido, brother of the great late Chris Candido, for a book called No Gimmicks Needed. We had him on this past week.
He's from New Jersey, right?
Yeah, we've had the Tennessee Stud, on the podcast.
Oh, we had him on years ago.
Top 10.
Yes.
We're back, but,
Ron Fuller, have you ever worked with him, Bobby?
I worked with Robert and the cousin Jimmy Golden when I was in Smoky Mountain. I met Robert way back when I was in Florida. But as far as Ron, the Tennessee Stud, I did not. I've not even had the pleasure of meeting him. We have spoken several times privately via direct message as well as telephone. And then we interviewed him, of course. But I met his brother Robert and his cousin Jimmy, but I've not met Ron.
How cool
other than social media and speaking.
Yeah, how great of an interview was he, though?
That's a great podcast.
Yeah, we had him on years ago, and he is just amazing guy to talk to.
He probably is the best storyteller in professional wrestling. He just has all those stories that are true, and his family's related, and all the territories that he owns and all the talent that he helped book and bring up, through the years of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I probably could never say enough good things about the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller, for what he's done, and his family as well, for professional wrestling.
Wow. And just when we talked to him, I asked if he would ever encourage his children to wrestle, and he just said, not with the way it is. Not with the way it is nowadays. Just to hear that guy who's... Yeah, like he was a great guy to talk to. I wanted to ask you too, Bobby, what's your take on the exodus of a lot of pro wrestlers from WWE going to AEW?
Well, I'll say this: I don't watch a lot of current product per se on television, although I do keep up through social media as to what's going on in the business. And I think anyone that gets excited or says something hateful or nasty on social media about someone losing their job or being fired, I think that person is terrible. Because, the girls and the guys, the men and women, people involved in professional, I do not want to see anyone lose their job. So when a WWE makes these cutbacks, put people on furloughs and things like that, whether you hate their character or not, someone is losing a paycheck,
Yeah.
So I'm not for that. Fortunately, and let me say this, I'm not a big AEW fan, although I am glad that there is an AEW so people can go and work there.
Yeah.
So now it gives guys or girls, in this case, that have been released another opportunity to make money in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
In this case, being shown on a mainstream and worldwide television.
Yes.
So,
I also saw Paul White.
People want to talk trash about, I don't like this character. That's the character on television. They're playing a role. That's still a human being. But, again, just to be a little bit redundant, at least there's AEW's picked up some contracts, and there's also, of course, Ring of Honor and Impact and some other places to go and work. Just Major League Wrestling, there's other places to go and work. But I'm glad AEW is picking up some of these guys' contracts, or at least giving them an opportunity to still make money in the world of professional wrestling.
Yeah, and what I read, too, of the Big Show, Paul White, he said there's not... He went to AEW, but he said there's no bad blood at all between him and Vince. So that was cool to read.
Yeah, that's always good, too. I just listened last night to another podcast, and I heard that Samoa Joe's getting hired back he got furloughed in April, I think, and he's going back to WWE.
Oh, cool.
And that's good that there's not any heat there when they are let go.
Yes.
Everyone makes a joke about, good luck in your future endeavors when they get that letter or whatever it is, you get called in, or you get your last paycheck or what have you. But the fact is, at least now, at least in the U.S., there's another company that'll say, hey, we'll give you a chance.
Yeah.
You want to come in? It may be a different role. You may not be in a wrestling capacity. You may be an announcer. You may be someone that just does the PR for us or what have you. But I think like in these situations, at least you're still involved in something you love, the world of professional wrestling,
Yes. I want to ask too, Bobby, were you ever, with the fame of wrestling and video games, were you ever in a video game?
I was in a video game. I actually went to Vancouver way back in 98. The very first professional wrestling video that EA Sports did. Now, of course, they didn't. They have done NASCAR and professional soccer and football, etc.
Yes.
All those. But they had never done a video on or involving professional wrestling. And myself, Bobby Eaton, Colonel Buddy Parker, and Lasher LaRue, we went up there to EA Sports in Vancouver, Canada. They've got offices in Tokyo and all over the world. EA Sports was in the game, and I was in one called Mayhem, the very first one that EA Sports done. And myself and the three other gentlemen I mentioned, we done the motion capture for that video, and we done, between us four, we done over 600 moves in our action caption with the darts and targets, etc., so they can capture it on video to do that very first one for EA Sports for the for professional wrestling for them. And I was honored to do that, and got a really nice paycheck once it came out. They sold like 450,000 units the first time. That's divided in three ways. WCW gets a third, EA Sports gets a third. There were 60 characters in the video, and you divide that other third between 60. So you can see the talent actually gets the low cut.
Yeah.
But fortunately for me, being up in Vancouver, myself and the other three, we were compensated very well for being there for the month that it took to shoot that.
That's cool.
So yeah, I've been involved in video games, and it was a great. Hell, I'd do it again at my age now if I had a chance to be back in EA Sports.
That's awesome.
But it was a great opportunity to be forever immortalized in a kind of a quote cartoon character, if you will.
Yes.
Did you do like voice acting for that too, or just the motion capture?
Motion caption, and the thing is, if you'll if you look at Bobby Eaton and myself, we're kind of the same height, same build at that time. And then Lash, and we were a little bit taller, about 6'1", 6'2"-ish. Lash and Buddy Lee were more muscular and built more like about 5'8"-ish, 5'9"-ish. And so what we done, the way we did that, is they can, with motion capture, they can stretch that out and make me or Bobby Eaton a 7-footer, and they can make the other guys, a little bit, take inches off and be 5'4", to be like a luchador. At that time, where motion capture was at. So, no, we didn't do any voice or anything. We just did all the moves where, for an example, in the video, or if you play the video game, when Kevin Nash's copied this after Andre or whatever, Andre was the first, ever just step over the top rope and he's going in the ring. But at that time, Nash was doing it, and the Giant was doing it back in WCW. Of course, that's who I was there with. I actually portrayed that. They pulled the top rope. They had a ring up there. It was over a $25,000 ring. All this rig was set up. We had a stuntman on set. But the guys pulled the rope down off the top rope as far as they could. I stepped over my body. But then on a video game, that becomes Kevin Nash and at that time, Giant. So they could stretch that out because you're like a stick figure. By the same token, Lash or whatever can do a top rope tope or something, or a backflip or a 450 onto a big crash mat. And they could turn that into a Mexican guy doing that on the video. So they had some different heights and weights to work with, because at that point where motion capture was at, it was really cool because they could stretch those out only so far at that time.
Yes.
So I hope that makes sense to you.
So it sounds like
it was great to be there.
Yeah.
You did the motions for like a large amount of the characters that were selectable in that video game.
Yes.
But I am curious, can I boot up that video game and select Bobby Blaze?
Absolutely, man. I'm a hidden character.
Yes.
There's 5 hidden characters. I'm one of them. You can beat a couple people. Once you beat a couple of the, quote, top stars of the promotion at that time, guess what? Here comes Bobby Blaze.
That's awesome.
I'm a character. And you got a chance to beat me. I think there's, like I said, there's 5 of us. We're hidden characters, and we can come out, and you can make those characters with video games. And I'm not a big gamer. Right. When that came out, EA Sports was so good to me. They gave me a PS1. They gave us clothing. They gave me like the soccer, the NASCAR, and I can't remember what, NCAA football at that time, 98, whatever. They were just so good to us. But when the videos come out, they sent me a couple copies for myself, for the PlayStation.
Awesome.
And back then, of course, when the royalties came out, that first check was really, really great. And I'll tell you a funny story just so you know. So, yeah, that was all nice, and I missed those paychecks. But to tell you the royalty deal, so back at that time, EA Sports, they had never done, like I said, a professional wrestling video. So between them and WCW, when they cut the deal, they wanted to sell approximately 450,000 units at that time at $49.95. Now, granted, you can probably find this video Mayhem on eBay or Amazon for probably about a penny. Pay $4.99 for shipping, and then you got $5 invested. But back then, it's $49.95, 450,000 units. So what happened was this is just the power of marketing, okay, just to let you know. So we're on TV, blah, blah, blah. We do the videos. It comes out. They go out. They do auto motion capture. They go out. They go to the arenas. They start taking pictures of all of us so they can get make sure the figures all fit on the motion capture. They get it all done. Long story short, and I'm going to draw back from your memories out there. If you're a little bit younger, that's fine. But between WCW and EA Sports, of course, they do the marketing publicity. In 3 months' time, they wanted 450,000 units in a year. They did it in 3 months, okay?
Wow.
They sold like 449,000 copies in about 3 months because it came out prior to Christmas of that year. Great Christmas gift, available on the game systems available at that time.
Dude,
so
that's awesome.
that first royalty check, WCW gets a third. EA Sports gets a third. The other 60 of us all get a third of that. That was still a very healthy check when you do the math.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
But what happened? Okay, if you've ever heard of the WWF back then, or WWE now, they were shooting a video, their first SmackDown video. And they had a guy you may have heard of called The Rock. He's on TV promoting the very first, like, their SmackDown version of, they already had Raw and a couple of, but with another company. They start putting on TV their Christmas release, which is going to be a new game for SmackDown. So here's the power of marketing, just to let you know. As much as I loved that first check, it was great. I got it right before Christmas of that year. So like I said, we done 450,000 units in a 3-month period, which they wanted to do in just a year. When that SmackDown comes out, talk about the power of marketing and the WWE, and you go back and check all this. It's factual.
Yeah.
The SmackDown video, it did like 1 million fucking copies in 1 week.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So of course, what happens over that 3-month period? They did it 1 week. They did 1 million copies. They basically doubled, WCW's deal. And of course, when that comes past Christmas time, people are still ordering, probably, just saying, they probably still order some SmackDown at $49.95, etc. But I know in February, when the next check came out, I called WCW, was just talking to a person, I won't mention her name. I was checking on my travel arrangements and stuff, and I said, by the way, is there another, aren't we due another, royalty check? And they go, Bobby, you know what? I just mailed you one out yesterday. And she goes, don't be disappointed, be lower than the last one.
Yeah.
And I said, what? And I was just curious. And this person said, yeah, it's going to be considerably lower. I can't tell you the price, what you're getting a check for, but I can tell you. So she told me the price. She told me what it was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention that number.
Yeah.
And it was way lower. And I said, what happened? And she goes, well, let's just say this. The opposition is still selling quite a few of their, games. Even though we sold 449,000 in 3 months, since December, and this is in February, just so you know. So 2 months later, she goes, that video game has sold 9,000 copies. Don't be surprised when your royalty check shows up and it's very, very low.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. The royalty check showed up the next day, very lower, and I never got another one after that. Just so you know.
But it's so great. It's so great that you were part of the first. And I just want to say, though, how many ever years later that is. Video game prices are still around the same. Like saying 50, they're like 60 now. Some of them are going to 70.
Yeah,
and I'm not
PS5 is 70.
I'm not complaining about either check.
Yeah.
If I had a check right now for the second royalty check I got out of that, I'd still be happy.
Still be happy.
You know.
Yes.
It's still good.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it just, that's the power of marketing. And of course, we know what happens eventually. WCW, shuts down and goes out of business. Of course, EA Sports continues. They continue to grow. Of course, it's a whole different market. Video games and wrestling, two different things.
Yeah.
Because they're doing so many different subjects, objects, etc. But anyway, you see my point. It's just fun to talk about it. I appreciate you bringing it up, man.
No problem. I love that you had an amazing story to tell about it. That's so cool, Bobby.
Yeah.
I did want to bring up, I was a big fan of this WCW game on the PlayStation 1 called WCW Thunder, and I had recently, probably like a year ago, found a copy of it and played it and unlocked like all the characters in it, and I was disappointed that you weren't in this game because there was like 1 million. You could be a giant starfish in this game, and I'm like, why is Bobby Blaze Smedley not in here? So it's great to know that you did make it to one.
Sorry. And I would have loved to have been a part of that. Those cocksuckers got me the second time.
Oh, man.
Only because, even though I had been on Thunder a few times, it was very minimum of times.
Oh.
And it's all about sometimes where you're at. I just happened to be, actually, the first video, I was up in like Boston, and someone come to me and said, "Hey, man, we need you to be out in Vancouver for the next 3 weeks. We'll finish you up on TV, blah, blah." So it's just a matter of where you're at sometimes. And the funny thing about that was the Thunder one, I was only approached a few times to do TV, luckily to some of the top talent that was involved in the NWO at that time. But as far as video games, like, they forget about you. They sweep you under the carpet like, okay, we're going to use these younger guys that are at the power plant, and we can get them a lot cheaper to go to Vancouver. You know, it's one of those deals, and that's just the way it happens, man.
Yeah.
That's just life.
Gotcha.
So they fucked me out a second video while I was still there.
Fuck that.
And a couple years ago, it just came out. There's an online somewhere. I'm not sure where, but it's on there. There's people's contracts and how much money you made for this amount of this year, and this year. And actually, there's several people that still, to this day, owe WCW money. Not WCW owes them money. You owe them. And for some reason, and I still don't know what the fuck for, my name's on a list. And I owe WCW $1. And I'm like, what the fuck? And this was a couple years ago. And, you know, you can follow me on Bobby Blaze 744 on Twitter. But a couple people put it. They started a fucking GoFundMe, and they raised, like, you can only bid, like, the first opening is like $5. Someone started a thing, GoFundMe, to raise $5 because I owed, me of all people, owe WCW a fucking $1 when it's all said and done after being there for 3 years. I'm like, I don't know anyone that I owe $1 to in my life.
Right? Is Ted
Anyway,
really
it's
like?
Just one of those goofy things.
Is Ted putting that out there? Like, you owe me $1, Bobby. I want that.
No. There's some gimmick. There's some gimmick on the internet. And you can go back and check. It's been about 3 or 4 years ago, so I haven't seen anything about it. But there's like 5 people that still owe WCW money. It shows my it doesn't show my contract, but it shows what I was making that year for appearances.
Man.
And for some reason, it showed me owing them $1. I think Steiner owed them money. There were several people, other names, you know, way up higher than me. And they started ribbing me about it, and someone said, "Well, let me pay this." And they started GoFundMe. They put $5 in it. Jeremy or William Harding or somewhere, they started it and said, "Hey, go help Bobby Blaze out and donate to this." And they just raised the first $5. That's all it needed.
That's it.
And it was just a rib. It's just a rib, you know.
Yeah.
Because it probably never did get paid. Who the fuck they going to pay?
Right.
You know, I don't. You know, I'm sure Ted Turner and I'm sure people involved in when that company went under, not worried about a fucking $1.
No, that's the least of their worries.
You know, and I hate owing anyone. I hate owing. When I go to the store and they says $1.06, and I got like $1.02 on me, and they say, "Well, I got the 4 pennies, or I've got a nickel here." I'm like, "No, let me go and get it. Let me get it out of my dash. I don't want to owe you.
Yes.
You know, I don't want to owe you a fucking $1. Sorry." Yes. You know, but that's what happens. You know, it's just something. It's a funny rib.
Yeah,
but I don't know how it happened.
I don't either, Bobby.
I don't even, because I never got paid for a calendar that I was on, which they got my birthday wrong, and several other things, you know, and I'm like, hey, you know what, it's all said and done.
Yeah.
I did good while I was there. I appreciate the publicity. I appreciate the run. I was proud to be involved in professional wrestling and get the contract I did while I was there. And if you want $1, you can come over and kiss my big fat white ass, and I'll give you $5. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If that's what you need to keep yourself in good spirits, come over here and I'll give you the $5. You know, I ain't sweating $1.
Nah.
I'll take $1 and buy a lottery ticket, as we talked about in the past. You know, I'll take that chance and do the fucking hillbilly retirement plan. You know, I'll buy the lottery, but well, it is what it is, man. Have fun with it, you know?
Yeah. Bobby, it's a blast. It's always great talking to you, my friend. Thank you so much for coming back on.
Yes.
You're awesome.
We have fun on here, man.
Always.
I'm just glad you guys are still around and are still healthy. And let me just plug, you know, the Bell to Bell Bobby Blaze podcast is back, has been back. It's dropped down on every Tuesday morning. I got the good professor, Jeremy Vilmer, helping me with it. I'm working on my 3rd book. And you can follow me on Twitter only. That's my only social media, at Bobby Blaze 744. And guys, I love you guys. I appreciate it very much.
Love you so much, Bobby.
I'm just glad we fucking got through 2020, and I'm glad to be back on your program. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, my friend. Definitely. And when this all comes out, I'll tag you in all the links and all that.
Yes, any way I can help you on social media, again, it's just Twitter. Guys, I'll be more than glad to help you guys. You know that. Just tag me, hook me up, send me a DM, whatever, and I'll put out anyone. Even though I might not be on that particular podcast, you got one special, send it out, man. I'll help you get it out there for you. That's what I like. It's kind of my deal is this. Let's pay it forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Help one another, reach out, and help your brother when you can, man.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. Take
All
care.
right. My pleasure.
Have a great summer.
A good one.